Welcome back to another video. So this week we're going to be looking at decontamination washes, what they can offer you and what use purpose they have, why you would use one, when it's time to use one. So we're going to get into all that today. So over the last few weeks then, when I've been washing my car, especially during the contact wash, so you've already gone over, you've done your pre-wash, you've rinsed off, you're then going over doing your contact wash. What I've noticed is a slight grabbiness, especially in those sort of really dirty areas behind the front and rear wheels, behind the arches and all around the front. And basically what happens is over time you have a requirement for doing a bit of a decontamination wash. So things that could have built up then over the weeks and months, in this case it's probably been 8-9 months maybe since I've done a decon wash. Maybe you should look at doing one of these probably twice a year. So we're well overdue. I were hoping that the weather would be a bit better by this time of year, but we are where we are. We're into April and it's still freezing cold, raining, but it's all part of living in England, I suppose. So in terms of what we're going to do today then, like I say, we'll do an initial pre-wash, we'll pressure wash off as usual, we'll then do a full contact wash on the car body and the wheels as well. We'll get everything as spotless as possible. What we're then going to do is go over with a dedicated fallout removal treatment. So that's just like a spray on, you leave it to dwell, and then you rinse back off. And then what we're also going to probably look at doing is a tar and glue removal as well, just to make sure we've got all those last little bits of everything off the surfaces. What we're not looking at today is a dedicated decon shampoo, which you can buy. So you tend to get these acidic shampoos or slightly acidic shampoos, they're not super acidic, they might be 5 or something like that on the pH scale. And basically you can get a somewhat of a decon wash from one of those. How bad your car is will depend what results you get from one of those. We're not going to look into doing that today. That's another option that is available though if you so wish. So let's get outside now, we'll get it all set up. We'll run through all the different stages of the wash process and we'll look at doing those decontamination stages. Right then, here we are, we're outside, we're just finishing getting set up. So we're going to do pre-wash with buildup Touchless today with half the dilution. We've not got a super dirty car today, so although we're keeping up to maintenance washes and everything, obviously like I mentioned you can still feel some of those embedded contaminants, which is why we're doing the decon wash. But in terms of the actual clear coat right now, it's not too dirty, so we're doing buildup Touchless at 1% fruit foam cannon today, and we'll get on with it. So there we are then, once round with the buildup Touchless for the pre-wash. We've used between probably 50 and 60% of that dilution there, so even though we're only using 1%, we've only used about half of it again. We've got decent panel temps today, it is a bit cooler, no direct sunlight as such, or if we have it's intermittent, it's not been enough to really heat the panels through. So we should get a decent dwell time. Once we've done that, we'll get it all rinsed off and we'll get on to the contact wash. Right, so that's round once with the pressure washer then. Got all the pre-wash off. So we'll get around it again. What we're going to do is a snow foam application for the contact wash soap today. And then we're just going to do a 1 bucket rinse method. What we're also going to do, contact wheel clean. So we'll do the wheel clean first. And then we'll get on with the other bits. So there's no easy or ideal way of doing this. It's just absolutely started belting it down with rain. Now it's just starting to slow down again. So I'm not going to get the car dry in these conditions. What you would ideally do is fully dry the car, then you'd go over it with the fallout remover, just to make that effective as possible and not water it down any. We're not going to be able to do that today, so we're just going to work with what we've got. So we're going to get it on now, and then we'll get this back off, and then we can go on to the next stage. As I mentioned before then, the weather really is against us today. It's just started raining a bit heavier. I've actually been around the car and done the full application already. So, not that it's going to have an ideal dwell or anything, or time to react properly, but we'll leave that on for a few minutes and then we'll get it rinsed off. They're actually starting to hailstone for a minute there, so I just took cover. A bit ridiculous really, I've had all the seasons today. There is some reaction still going on, you know, the purple tinge that you get with these fallout removers, so it is working and pulling that away. It's just a bit more difficult to see than it would usually, a bit more watered down. But nevertheless, any fallout that is being able to break down by this product and just help release it from the surface, it will still do that. You can see bits where it's running down onto the floor, where it's pulling that fallout. What a hailstone, unbelievable. So it's just started to hailstone. We're not going to get any better results than we've already got with it being washed off now. So we'll get round, get this fallout remover washed off, see what it looks like after. So that's us all rinsed off then with the fallout remover. You'd get a bit of a reaction there then, as you'd expect, mostly around the wheels. So even though we've already given the alloys good contact clean and everything, that just makes sure that any of that embedded sort of ferrous material that you will help lift off the surface is exposed as well as it can be, and they're already clean before you do that. Obviously it's the same with the clear coat and the paint and everything. To get the best possible results, you always need the cleanest car possible. There's no point putting this on a dirty car where you've got to get through layers of dirt and traffic film and everything first before it can help lift some of that fallout off, some of that ferrous material. Here we are then, we've got another season, another 10 minutes has passed, so why not? What we're going to do now is we'll get down with the tar and glue, we'll spray the affected areas, or the most affected areas, which is just really glassed down. We'll give them a quick wipe over with the microfiber. We'll get it a rinse off again after we've done the whole car, just to make sure everything's off the surface. It's quite a strong solvent. And then we'll get the car dry, and that'll be it for the wash process. So that's us then. Well, they still haven't decided what it's doing. Stayed in a different season for more than 10 minutes, which has been nice. So obviously we've been around the whole car today. We've done the pre-wash, pressure washed it, then done a contact wash, pressure wash clean again. We've then gone around with the fallout remover, let that do its thing, rinse that away after it's activated and done what it's going to do, help lift some of that ferrous material off. Then we've gone around with the tar and glue treatment, and just help take some of those embedded contaminants and bits of tar and everything off that comes off the roads. And then we've gone round again, rinsed again, just to make sure we've got any of that solvent off. We don't want that sitting on the paint, ideally it's quite strong. And although these products are friendly with ceramic coatings and shouldn't damage them as such, you don't want to leave them on there or risk exposure for a prolonged amount of time. What we've done then is we've just been around and dried the vehicle, and that's it, all done for today. So we have seen a marked improvement in the surface finish and the quality of the clear coat just by doing those two quick steps. Like I mentioned before in the garage, you can do a decon wash, and maybe sometimes you might get away with that instead of the multi-step process. I haven't just got any to hand, that's why I haven't done that today. These steps we have taken and these products I've used today, more than easy enough to come by. It's something which I keep anyway because I'm doing this process probably twice a year usually. So that's us all done. We'll get packed up, we'll get back in the garage. Right then, we're back in the garage. That's it for today's decontamination and washing processes. So anyone who has used a fallout remover before knows that pungent, awful sort of rotten egg smell you can't seem to get rid of, whether it blows about in the wind, whether it's stuck to my clothes now. The pump sprayer now is giving off a bit of a pungent smell now it's been pressurised and used. So hopefully that goes soonish and it doesn't stink my whole garage out for weeks on end. So what we've looked at today then in summary is instead of using a decontamination shampoo, which we can do, which is an acidic shampoo generally, they are readily accessible, quite easy to use. If you wanted to just go to that next step of maybe you've done your pre-wash and your pressure wash, and instead of using a normal contact wash soap, you would replace that in this case with a decontamination shampoo. That would help lift some of those contaminants that are a bit more embedded than you would usually expect to be able to remove with a contact wash soap. So having a slightly more acidic soap would help aid in that. But we haven't done that today. Well, that is another option that we said we would discuss, sort of other options. That is certainly one of the most easy ones. So what we've chose to do is use a dedicated fallout remover. So hopefully you've seen these before. To do then, when they react with ferrous materials, they turn a bit of a purpley colour, and that gives you a bit of an indication that you see that working. Another place you will see this is like a reactive wheel cleaner. So a wheel cleaner that's maybe dedicated to that job specifically. You'll spray that on and then you'll see it as it starts to bleed, it turns a bit of a purple colour. That is basically, in essence, a very similar product. Just in that case, you will have some dedicated cleaning chemistry in there as well, and materials. So all we've done today is we've already done the contact wash, we've washed the wheels, we've washed the car paint and everything. And then what we've chose to do is do this as a separate process. What that does affect then obviously is it makes it a lot easier. So in having already washed those contaminants and everything off the surface, like the traffic film, any sort of road salts or anything that's lying on there, any diesel or any other things that might have sprayed up on your car over the week or however long you've been since you've last washed it, you'll get rid of absolutely everything. Wheels especially, you know, you'll sort of get rid of that brake dust and that real heavy contamination before then adding the fallout remover. So what you're doing then is giving it the best possible chance to work. You're removing everything that's in its way to get to those ferrous materials, react as you would expect, and then enable you to remove those just with the pressure washer in this case. What we've subsequently done after that then is we've gone round with a dedicated tar and glue remover. So this helps remove some of the road tar and everything that sometimes gets spotted up on the vehicle, whether it's from roadworks or newly laid roads in this case, maybe a bit of bitumen or something like that that's not quite stuck to the ground. You've gone over it, or passing cars have sort of gone by you, maybe flicked it up at your vehicle, and it tends to stick to the clear coat and cause that surface roughness that you might feel. Why we decided to do this today then, obviously we felt that surface roughness. So the last couple of weeks during washing, I'd noticed that something, you know, wasn't quite right in terms of contaminants even post-wash that have been building up. So it obviously gives you a bit of a trigger. What that feels like is maybe when you're going over your wash mitt, you just feel something a little bit more grabby than usual. It's not going to be anything super drastic, but you'll certainly notice that it's not a super smooth glide over with the wash mitt. You might find it's a little bit grabby. There's something a little bit extra there. There's a bit of a surface roughness. And if you run the back of your finger on the clear coat, you might just be able to tell it's not what it once was. In terms of how often would you do this, like I mentioned before, you're probably looking at twice a year, depending, as long as you've no sort of unusual use case. Don't get me wrong, if you have ridden through any particular areas where you've hit roadworks or a new road being laid and you've got a specific, you know, contaminant that's then layered itself on your clear coat, I would recommend getting that off as soon as possible with the tar remover. But if it's just general wear and tear and you're not doing that sort of thing, a couple of times a year should suffice. These products are ceramic coating safe, like I mentioned outside, so there should be no worries in terms of, can I use these over the top of my coating? Will they damage an existing coating and something that's already on? No, they won't for the most case, but what I would always say is make sure you just double check whatever products you're looking to use. Are they compatible with your ceramic coating? Will your ceramic coating stand up to them? Tar and glue tends to be quite a strong solvent, so that's the one you might have to look out for, especially making sure you've got it back off. Might not be an issue, just it being on there a couple of minutes, giving it a wipe off and getting rid of some of those tar spots. But in terms of then removing it, you want to make sure you've got the last of that solvent off the surface once you've finished that process. What we've done after then is we've done a full contact dry. Luckily, even though we've had some really strange weather today, we've had sort of all 4 seasons in the hour and a bit it's taken us to do this process. You know, it's a bit of one of those, literally sun 1 minute, then a bit of rain, back to sunshine, cloudy and windy and rainy again, and then you were hailstoning, and then it were back to sunny, and it's been a bit mental really, but that is what you put up with in springtime in England, I suppose. And you just have to get on with these things. It's all right saying, oh, well, I'm just going to wait another day, another week. You can't always have that luxury, you know what I mean? It's one of those where you just got to get on with it and get it done like we've done today. Will it be as effective and as perfect conditions if it wasn't raining and you managed to dry the vehicle and everything? No, but even still, we were quite confident today that it were doing what it was supposed to. You saw that purple tinge and everything pulling down through the wheels and onto the floor around the car. It's not the easiest with my tarmac flooring I have outside, isn't the easiest to see any sort of reactive chemicals like that on, but they were perfectly visible to the eye, and I saw that pulling off no problem. So we've returned the car back then, you know, we've got that, especially once I've been over with the tire and glue remover. Very clear after that then there's a noticeable increase in surface slickness, so removing some of those contaminants has done the trick in our case, which is always nice to see. What you've gone after and what you were hoping it was, turns out it is, you were correct, and the processes you've followed have worked. If you're new to the channel, we've been doing this about 6 months now. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you've not liked the video, make sure to like down below. Consider turning that notification bell on for just basically getting notified when I make a new upload. We're uploading once a week, usually on a Thursday evening, and then we've got shorts coming out, which are generally the long video just chopped up into little segments and bite-sized bits that people might find more digestible who aren't watching long videos. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video on the decontamination wash we've done, and we'll see you next time.